Think about the first time you ever went on a job interview, first date, did something new for the first time, meet someone for the first time, and you needed advice. And you were probably, just like me, you were probably given the famous 3 words, just be yourself. How many of you have been given this advice, just be yourself? At some point in your life, we've all been told, just be yourself. It feels almost cliched, kind of like follow your passion, do the right thing, be yourself. My fellow Toastmasters, I am about, and guests, tonight, you will learn why being yourself is actually not a good idea, and why being congruent is actually a much better idea. So, what's the problem with being yourself? Imagine, well, what if yourself sucks? What if you are a horrible, selfish, terrible human being that is rude to the world and no one likes to be around you? Should you be yourself then? Would you tell Roman Polanski to just be yourself? No. My fellow Toastmasters, if you think about it, being yourself creates a ceiling for being able to outdo yourself, to progress beyond yourself. Why did you join Toastmasters in the first place? Because you wanted to get better at speaking, right? Why did you join Toastmasters, Nico?
To observe and become a better speaker.
Yes. If in your former state in your current state of speaking, if you were told to be yourself, that is horrible advice. You probably would want to be more like Tony Robbins in your speaking rather than yourself. And to dispel this idea of why being yourself is actually good advice, I can dispel it with one question. Who do you think you should be more like that would make your life better? Maggie, can you think of someone that if you were more like, it would make your life better?
Oprah.
Yeah, that's a very
Katie.
good example.
You can think of at least one person, probably many more, that you wish you were more like, right? So why be yourself? Well, you shouldn't. Think about it. Being yourself doesn't really make any sense. You are probably many different people at the same time. We all have different roles we have to play. You may be mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, daughters, teachers, mentors, employees, employers. These all have different personalities and traits to become. And many of you will be many of these things at the same time. For example, if you would probably never talk to your boss as the husband or wife role, unless maybe they were your spouse. But even then, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to act upon the thoughts of being that person in the work setting, because that wouldn't make any sense. When you hear "be yourself," what comes to mind? Maybe being authentic, being honest, being very no filter, essentially. Just putting it all out there. Well, let me be authentic here. The truth is, no one wants to know your true self. No one wants to know your true self, because what you think, there's some things in your head and thoughts that you all have that just should never come to the light of day. If you think about it, the world only can continue to function with the acknowledgement that your true self shouldn't be out at all times, or even at some times. I don't think telling your married friend that his wife is hot would breed a very, very good friendship. Or saying that your teacher has a really, or making fun of your teacher's speech impediment would benefit the class. So, another reason why you shouldn't be yourself is because you don't know yourself. If you think about it, we are the worst judge of ourselves. I'm only 24, and I want you, for the older audience, to think back to when you were in your teens and 20s, and how, I'm sure, who in here thought they had it all together when they were 20, or knew who they were? Maybe at this point, you're still figuring out who you are. your life is an evolution of various different personalities, various different ideas, because it's all based on growth. I imagine everyone here is very, very prioritizes personal growth. That's one of the reasons why you're here. Not because you wanted to stay yourself. Now you may be thinking, well, if I can't be myself, who can I be? What am I supposed to do? How can I be anyone but myself? Well, forget being yourself. Just be congruent. Being congruent means that you do exactly what you profess to say. So how many people notice that that it's very uncommon to find someone who actually acts upon what he preaches? That takes true skill, true courage within to be congruent. And that's really the sub-communication, if you think about it, of when people say, be yourself. I mean, Maggie, you've, in addition to this incredible speech, you've talked about your past before and how you had a rough beginning with your struggle with alcohol. Do you think being yourself would have been the best advice for yourself? Absolutely not. It's because she rose above herself. So think about being congruent. And more importantly, a technique that you can take away from this is, who's heard the phrase, fake it till you make it? There is a lot of truth in fake it till you make it. Now, you may feel that fake it till you make it sounds sort of negative, has this really bad taste in your mouth, like it feels fake and negative and shouldn't be something that we should explore. Well, think about it this way. Put yourself into the first time you ever learned a new skill, or you wanted to make a true change in your life. Did it really feel comfortable or authentic the first time that you did that? If you aspire to become a great piano player, the first time you get on the piano, and even though you want to pour your heart out like a true piano player, it didn't feel authentic because it didn't come out the right way. But that's the right attitude to have for it. Fake it till you make it. If you're not happy with your financial situation, then maybe you should adopt the habits of an extremely wealthy person. What would a wealthy person do in your situation? And eventually you'll see the changes. Take public speaking. If you are a very nervous and uncomfortable person and want to become more confident in your speaking or in just in life in general, you need to act and have the habits of a more confident person. And eventually, your actions will lead to true change. And psychology has shown studies over and over again that the more that you smile, the happier you will actually become, regardless of how you might feel in the present. This is what it means to make true change. Fake it till you make it. Doing anything new, having any new effort towards change or learning new skill will feel unauthentic in the beginning, but eventually it won't, and you will become a new person, a better person, the person that you actually strive to be. So, my fellow Toastmasters and guests, the next time someone gives you the advice to just be yourself, run far away from this person because they do not have your best interest at heart. No, you don't have to run. But just remember that when someone tells you to be yourself, don't think of it as being yourself. What they're really communicating to you is they want you to act in a way that matches up with what you say you are. And just remember, fake it till you make it. Stay congruent. Thank you.